Hello everyone, I'm Sahil and welcome back to the channel. So this company analysis video is actually requested by one of my viewers by the name of Sijian. However, I was personally quite interested to check this company out as well. So in this two-part video, we'll be deep diving into one of the tech giants of China, Baidu. As usual, I will be splitting up this company analysis into 5 different segments, covering the company analysis and the financials in the first part of the video. And in the second part, we'll be talking about the competitive analysis, the investment thesis that I have for the company, and lastly, the valuation. So without further ado, let's hit it out. Starting with the company overview, Baidu literally translates to hundreds of time, which is meant to signify the persistent search of the ideal. It was founded by Robin Li in the year 2000 as a search engine in China, and at that point of time, it was directly competing with Google. However, Google was banned in China in year 2010, and that's where Baidu really took off. Today, their overall search engine market share in China stands at 72%, and particularly in the mobile search segment, they hold a monopolistic 93.8% market share. So they dominate in China. However, with the size of the population of China, they have actually become one of the biggest players globally. It was ranked at 4th place based on the time spent and page views per user, just behind Google, YouTube, and Facebook. Other than having a search engine, they have also spawned off many new businesses over the years with the aim of making the complicated world simpler with technology. According to them, they are one of the very few companies around the world that are offering full artificial intelligence stack. They are largely similar to Google in their offering, and if you are interested to invest in the company, you can actually find them on NASDAQ under the ticker symbol of BIDU, or they are also listed on Hong Kong now. They recently got listed under the ticker of 9888. So yeah, if you're interested to know the differences of which one you should invest through, like which listing, then you can definitely go and check out my comparison video that I did. I will link it out in the description below. But moving on to the business, right? If you look further, Baidu actually splits up their businesses into 2 different segments. First one is the Baidu Core, and the other one is the iQIYI. Let's look at the iQIYI because it's simpler to explain. So iQIYI is basically the Netflix of China, but the difference being that it has a slightly different business model. Like they work on the freemium business model where you can watch the videos for free, like some of the videos for free. However, you have to cope with the ads and all, or you can subscribe to their VIP membership and you get access to a wider range of videos and shows. And there's no advertisements, and the viewing quality is good as well. So iQIYI is also listed on NASDAQ under the ticker of IQ. Baidu itself has 53.08% stake in iQIYI, and it represents 27% of Baidu's overall revenue. Currently, iQIYI is not profitable. It's still at a loss, but it's narrowing down to a profit. Also, iQIYI has started to expand overseas, starting with the Southeast Asia, where they have offices now in Thailand, Indonesia, and Malaysia. And they have also announced in December last year that they will be establishing a headquarter or regional headquarter in Singapore. Moving on to the Baidu Core, right? So Baidu Core is mainly their online marketing business, and they also the online marketing business is quite similar to what Google Ads is like. It's based on the cost per click basis, if you're familiar with that. And Baidu Core also consists their new business initiatives. So yeah, in total, overall, this segment represented 73% of Baidu's total revenue in year 2020. So yeah, Baidu further splits up their Baidu Core into 4 different growth engines. The first one is the mobile ecosystem. Then they have the AI cloud, then intelligent driving, and lastly the other business initiatives that they are in. So Baidu's mobile ecosystem, which consists over a dozen apps, including their flagship Baidu app, which altogether come and provide an open platform to bring together a wide range of third-party content and services using the Baidu's algorithms. The Baidu app itself, the flagship app, had over 544 million monthly active users at the end of December. It's quite massive, looking at the size of the internet users of China, right? They have quite a reach, and we have already seen the market share that they have, right? Other than the Baidu app itself, they also have other apps such as Haokan and Quanmin, which are dedicated towards video sharing and are directly competing with apps such as TikTok. Then they have Baidu Wiki, which is a leading wiki in China, compiled by experts, not by other users. Then they also have Baidu Knows, which is something like Quora, where people and individuals can go and ask a question from the internet community, and other people can answer to those questions. And they have Baidu Post, which is like an online forum. They have Baidu Experience, which is for daily blogging and stuff like that. Moving on to the AI cloud. AI cloud, I don't think I have to explain what the cloud is. Like, it's quite a common theme now amongst the various tech giants around the world. However, Baidu says that they are differentiated by their AI capabilities and the AI building blocks or solutions that that are supporting their cloud. Also, they are providing rich data, open source data for their cloud services. Currently, all the AI services that they are providing on the cloud are free for developers, through which Baidu actually hopes that the wide adoption and application of their products, right, will allow Baidu to improve their AI capabilities in the long term. Also, they are able to collect real-time data on where the developers are working on and which direction they are heading, so they can direct their research and development plus investments towards that area to provide solutions in that area, so to increase the business verticals. Thirdly, intelligent driving, and this is the part where I think everybody's the most excited about, and there are good reasons to be, because Baidu is the market leader in this segment, at least in China. So yeah, this business segment includes their Apollo, their active mobility, and they're also starting up their own EV company. So Apollo Business is just like a software service provider. So they have their HD map data. They have automated valet parking, which is like you go to your destination and the car will find its own parking space and park, and it will also come back to your pickup point. And then you have autonomous navigation pilot, which is just autonomous driving, regular driving, right? So what Apollo does is they provide this software to the OEMs. So they have signed contracts with over 10 OEMs in China to like use their autonomous driving software on their vehicles. 4 of these companies will be starting to incorporate this software in their vehicles by the end of this year. So they are already at a verge of commercializing all this software that they have been developing for past 7 or 8 years. So yeah, they are quite leading in this stage. And then they have the forgot to mention, Tesla itself also is using Baidu's HD map data for their operations in China. So moving on to the active mobility, right? Here they have all the other vehicles like shuttle buses. Then they have their automated delivery vehicles, like what JD is doing as well. So yeah, and they also have the robo-taxi under this segment, where this is another hyped up market, right? But obviously Baidu is quite a leader in this space as well. They became the first company in China to actually commercialize their robo-taxis. So they are already charging passengers for robo-taxi services within Beijing and 2 other cities. And they are actually doing it all over the places. So it's not just limited to one area. The taxis are allowed to go at any place around the city, from like, the complex structures like tunnels and crowded urban, like the city centers and all those things. So the vehicles are quite capable, the software is quite capable of doing so, and they have already been approved. And so they are already charging people, but there's definitely a driver seated on the driver seat just in case something goes wrong. But he's generally not doing anything. It's just the passenger and the vehicle interacting. So yeah, they are also trying to test without driver, like completely without driver at a restricted place within Beijing. So yeah, but still there is a driver off-site, so they can obviously take over the vehicle remotely using 5G. So yeah, that's something that to take note of. So Baidu is definitely leading in this space. Then going forward, they're also starting up their own EV company. Actually, they have already done, and the company is called Jidu Auto. And they are doing it in partnership with Geely, where Geely Auto is providing all the manufacturing expertise, and Baidu is providing the autonomous and all the software platform for the company. If you are not sure what is Geely is actually one of the biggest OEMs in China, and they were the one who recently took over Volvo. So yeah, it's quite a big company. and Baidu will be holding 55% stake in Jidu Auto. Also, I was reading yesterday in the news that GD Auto hired ex-Cadillac design executive to design their cars, and also the CEO mentioned that they will be starting to sell their vehicles. The vehicles will be in the market by end of 2023. So it's quite a short time span that they are doing this, and it would be quite good because Baidu is already at the point of commercializing and starting to earn money from all the research, all the money they have spent on the research and development in the past few years. So needless to say, Chinese government is also very supportive of what Baidu is working on. Like AI and autonomous driving is the two areas that Chinese government is definitely pushing towards, and they're supporting Baidu in this area. They have provided Baidu with over 199 licenses, which is far ahead of the next competitor, which only has 20 licenses in China. So yeah, again, Baidu is the leader in the area right here. Other than this, they have a few other business initiatives. So they have Baidu Health, which is like online medical consultation and pharmacy kind of thing. And they have Baidu Maps, which is like Google Maps in a way. And they also have developed a OS for infotainment systems within the cars, and also you have your smart devices like Google Home kind of devices, a smart screen, and a smart speaker. So yeah, Baidu is in that space as well. So obviously they just entered this space of consumer hardware products, but they have the potential to expand in this business quite rapidly, and we'll be talking about it later on as well. Yeah, so that's about it for all the businesses. So now let's look at the financials of the company. Now, Baidu's financials have been disastrous for the past few years, and that was one of the reasons that I was so reluctant to look into Baidu in the past, because that's the first thing I look at. I will look at the financials. I'll see if it's growing, there's steady increase, and then that's my first screening. So after that, I will look into the company, where Baidu already was cancelled out in my head. That I don't want to look into, because the revenue was quite stagnant. Like for an internet company, that's very, very bad. So in the past 4 years, right, Baidu has grown its revenue only by 2% compounded annually, which is trash, right? Like your competitors, Alibaba and Tencent, they have been growing at like 30% compounded annually. So yeah, you are doing very, very bad. For the cash flow from operations as well, it has seen a downward trend in the last 4 years also. So obviously, if you want to look into Baidu, right, we must understand what was happening during these years. Why was Baidu doing so bad? So the reasons that came up with, like, there are quite a number of issues that Baidu was facing, but there was two main reasons for such a shitty performance. Firstly was the regulatory environment. So in 2016, right, Chinese regulator imposed a new advertising law prohibiting online marketing of prescription drugs and tobacco products. At the same time, Baidu also got into trouble with the regulators, and they were being investigated for a case where one of the cancer patient, right, died after trying out a dubious treatment, a cancer treatment that was advertised on Baidu's platform. So yeah, they were investigated for that, and after that, Baidu conducted a rigorous cleanup of all its medical related advertising, slashing the number of eligible advertisers. And it is estimated by Nomura, which is one of the banks and research firm, right, that Baidu actually generated 20 to 30% of their revenue, advertising revenue, from the healthcare sector. So after this thing, right, they were seriously affected by it. And also in 2019, regulators came down hard again for advertisers, and this time focusing on eliminating inappropriate advertising content. And at the end of May 2019, Baidu had to remove over 1.1 billion advertisements deemed inappropriate. Due to the advertisement cleaning both the years, right, the advertising revenue definitely dropped, and that was the mainstay of Baidu during this time. So yeah, that is one reason why we saw such a bad performance. And secondly, there was also weakness in the financial services and auto and logistics sectors, which was another mainstay for advertisers for Baidu. And also, the industry that was growing was e-commerce, right? But all the players were getting better bang for their buck on Baidu's competitors. Like if they are positioning their ads on Alibaba or so they had better bang for buck over there. So all the growing industry, the e-commerce industry, and the players were advertising on Alibaba. That's why we saw Alibaba growing so much, and Baidu wasn't taking any advantage of this position. So yeah, nevertheless, they have surely maintained a strong balance sheet in these years. They have 25 billion USD in cash and short-term investments. So that is really, really good. If you see the what do you call it, the market cap of Baidu, which is about like I think 65 billion to 70 billion, you already have 25 billion of that market cap in cash and short-term investments. So yeah, and then looking at the equity, which has also compounded at a 16.4% in the last 4 years, which is a gain rate. The total debt, including long-term leases, is also just half of the total cash and short-term investments. So it is quite a safe play if you want to invest into Baidu as of now. Like just looking at the financials, obviously we have to work out what is the future prospect of Baidu, and we'll be looking at into it pretty soon. So yeah, also there was a problem faced by Baidu in the previous years where the sentiments amongst the user was going down because these search results, allegedly the search results were not relevant, and Baidu was trying to push for its own ecosystem to be placed at the top research results, regardless of them being relevant or not to the to whatever the user is searching. So they were actually facing a lot of bad mouth because of that. But Baidu has acknowledged that problem, and also they have taken serious steps to improve and recover from these problems. So yeah, now they are not facing this problem anymore, and whatever you're searching, the results are quite relevant in the first few results. Yeah, so looking at the Q1 2021 results, right, the latest quarter, the revenue from marketing saw a growth of 27%, which is good to see, and it could be due to the improvements that Baidu is doing. So maybe they are working out. However, I don't think you should expect long-term growth from this business segment due to the competitive landscape in this area, and Baidu is at the losing side. So yeah, I would rather, in my opinion, focus on the other business segments, the new business initiatives that they have, which is more exciting. And the non-marketing revenue in the first quarter actually grew by 70%. So this is the the new business segment area. So it grew by 70%, which is again a great thing to see. And iQIYI grew slightly by only 4%. And this resulted in an overall revenue growth of 25% year on year, and 16.6% from the pre-pandemic levels. So yeah, now we can see some growth coming out, and we can also see that the non-marketing side, the new business segments are generating some revenue, so which is again good to see, and they're expanding. So most of this revenue is from the AI cloud, but going forward, the other business segments, as I was mentioning, are getting commercialized as well, so they're monetizing their other services. Right, so yeah, that's it for today. We have covered the overall business as of now, and I've tried to be as less biased as I could be, so you can form up your own opinions from here with all the information that I've provided. And in the next part, I will actually share my opinions. So these are all my opinions, where I will be talking about the competitors, my investment thesis into Baidu, and my valuation. So yeah, until then, ciao.